I'm back. I know I keep saying I'm going to be back and stop doing a hiatus, but I really don't know what happened. I don't have an excuse this time, but I've been meaning to do a video. I just haven't. I'm focusing on getting in shape for my wedding and stuff in August. I've been doing that after I've been working, and I've been working a lot of hours. That's not really an excuse, but I'm back. Anyway, I have a couple videos to do for you guys. But for this video, I wanted to do a book haul, and this is actually going to be an April book haul, even though it's May, because I bought these books within the last few days of April. So I haven't been book shopping since then. I've been holding off, and some of these books I'm really excited about. So let's get into it. The first one is The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. Oh, I haven't heard too much about this book, but I do have the book, The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, that was released, I believe, last year, and it became a national bestseller, like, really quickly, and I heard a lot about it, and I ended up finding it on a Kindle Daily Deal for, like, $3, I think, so I couldn't pass it up. I haven't read The Goldfinch yet, but that's only because it's, like, 800 or 900 pages, and I just kind of gotta brave that book. I mean, I have to be in the mood to read that big of a book, and I haven't really been in one. But that's the only reason I read that. The Secret History by her and The Little Friend are also really good books. So I wanted to. This one is a little bit smaller and more manageable. It's still pretty big, but I feel like this one will be a little bit more manageable. So I wanted to try and read this one. It sounds pretty interesting. In Alexandria, Mississippi, a boy is found hanging from a tree in his parents' yard, and then 12 years later, the mystery is still unsolved, so his sister goes to try and solve the mystery, and she has to go across town lines, and she just blows open, apparently, like, a whole can of worms, and a lot of shit goes down. So apparently, it sounds pretty good, and I mean, it's a national bestseller, and The Goldfinch sold really well too. So I feel like it can't be that bad. Yeah, and it was only a couple bucks. All of these books I got at Goodwill, and they were only a couple bucks each. So even if I haven't heard of them, when they're that cheap, I can't pass them up. Next one is one, again, I've never heard anything about. I've never heard of the author, nothing. The book sounded really good, and that is When Will There Be Good News by Kate Atkinson, and I'll just read the back for you. On a hot, beautiful day in the English countryside, 6-year-old Joanna Mason witnesses a horrific crime. 30 years later, the man convicted of the crime is released from prison. 16-year-old Reggie works as a nanny for a doctor devoted to her infant son. When Dr. Hunter goes missing, Reggie, no stranger to bad luck and worse, seems to be the only person who's worried. Detective Chief Inspector Louise Monroe is also looking for a missing person, unaware that hurtling toward her is an old friend, Private Detective Jackson Brody, himself on a journey that becomes fatally interrupted. As lives and history intersect, as past mistakes and current misfortunes collide, Jackson and Louise both get caught up in an investigation that will call into question everything they once thought true. So, again, just thought it was good, and it was cheap. Next one, I'm pretty sure a lot of you will have heard of. That is Gillian Flynn's Dark Places. So, I was actually, funny story, thinking about this book, and I just looking at my shelf, figuring out what do I want to read for this month, because I haven't really made myself a TBR. And I was thinking I wanted to pick up some Gillian Flynn, but I was also thinking, I only have 2 of her 3 books, so I want to get all of them just in case I end up really liking it and want to read them all straight through, even though they are not really related to story or anything. If I like an author, I like an author, and I want to get everything. So I just kind of went to Goodwill, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to check. They probably won't have it, but, you know, they had the other 2 books by her. So I was like, why not? And I wasn't expecting to find it. Sure enough, I went there, and they had it. And this is the first time I saw this book at that Goodwill. So now I have the collection. I have all 3 of them. So, and if you can see right here are my other 2 Gillian Flynn's. And both of these, again, I found at the Goodwill. Sharp Objects. See, these 2 have a matching cover, except that this is hardcover, but they sort of go together with this little design on the front. This one doesn't, but they had it and I've been wanting it, so I couldn't pass it up. I've actually never seen this cover. But if you're watching, please, which Gillian Flynn book should I start with first? Gone Girl, Sharp Objects, or Dark Places? It's like looking through a mirror. It's not recording properly. But which one of these 3 should I start with? Because I really want to get into her. I love suspense type books and stuff. But I don't know which one of hers is the best to start with. So please, if you have any suggestions, help. Next book I'm really excited about. I did not expect to find this. And again, this is a cover, just like the Sharp Objects, that I have not seen before. So, I mean, when they have them on the shelf, they only have the spines up. So you have to look at the spines, and I wasn't expecting to find this. The cover is one I haven't seen, and that is The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. And I've heard a lot about this, and I've been wanting to read it for a long time, so I freaked out when I saw this one. And this is about a lady and her husband, who's a lighthouse keeper, live on a remote island, and this is in 1926, and they're the only people who live on the island. And then one day, a boat washes ashore that's carrying a dead man and a baby, a crying baby. And I don't really know much more from there. I don't know if they take care of it, if they try and find out what happened, the history, story, where the mom is. I really don't know. But that's why I want to read it. But it sounds pretty interesting. Next one, I actually got this book. I haven't heard of it, but from a recommendation from Lorna from The Books and the Bees. She recommended this author, and she raved about this author. She said it was the one book by this author she read. She said it was one of the scariest books she has ever read, and she said she doesn't really get nightmares from books, but that one just left a bad taste in her mouth, and it was just so creepy. And I love books like that. So she's like, find anything by this author and you'll love it. So I didn't find that book, which was called The Snowman, but I found Nemesis by Joe Nesbo. And so I'm hoping that this one is as good as what she was saying Snowman is, because I love horror books and scary books and suspense and stuff like that, and no book will ever be too creepy for me. This is about a detective who finds his ex-girlfriend found dead in her bedroom, and he becomes the main suspect because he was the last person to see her alive that they know of. So, but he's also working on another case, and he only has a certain number of time to close these cases, and it doesn't really sound like horror. It sounds more just like a crime solving sort of novel, but I like those too. So I'm hoping there's something into that. Next one, never heard of. I don't know anything about. It just was small. I figured I could get through it quick, good condition, and honestly, I kind of like the cover. And that is When Zachary Beaver Came to Town by Kimberly Willis Holt. And see the cover, kind of cool. And the back just has a little one paragraph from the book. It says, a cramped trailer smells like pine sol and lemon pledge, and it's dark except for a lamp and sunlight slipping between the crack in the curtains. A drape hangs at one end, hiding the space behind it, and in the middle of the trailer sits the largest human being I've ever seen. So that kind of caught my attention, and like I said, it's pretty small, so I feel like I can get through this quick. I mean, it was $2. I can't really pass that up. So I thought I'd try it, and that's it for that one. The next one, I'm not going to do too much explaining of because you should all know about it. And I've heard about it on BookTube so many times, and it was never really a book that I've been dying to go out and get. But since it was there and it was cheap, I had to get it. That is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. And I guess that this is supposed to be, it's like a post-apocalyptic world, or these people can plug. I guess it sort of reminds me of the Matrix, how the real world has been destroyed or something, as far as I can understand. But they can plug into a fake world called the Oasis, and they can pretty much, the world can be anything that they dream it to be or want it to be. So you can live the life that you want, but there's also like puzzles hidden in this world, and you can win money, and I'm not really sure exactly. You can win some kind of money or some kind of a prize if you complete the puzzles, and it's just sort of sounds like a game. And the Matrix part makes me think of, because they have to plug into this world and have it be however they imagine it to be. They can think whatever they want and it'll appear, and so that should be pretty interesting. I'm not big on dystopian post-apocalyptic books, but it might be pretty good. I mean, I like the game aspect sort of thing of it, so we'll see. Okay, last book. Frankly, I just got this because of the title, and it sounded a bit interesting, but I've never heard of it or anything before. It's by Adam Langer. It's called Crossing California, and I'm from California, so that's the main reason why I got it. So I'll just read a tiny blurb. This funny and heartbreaking novel tells the story of 3 families and their teenage children living on either side of California. It follows their loves, heartaches, friendships, and losses during a memorable and defining moment of American history. Spanning the Iran hostage crisis through the inauguration of Ronald Reagan as president, Crossing California is a cinematic and unforgettable look at the end of an era, the turning point when the idealism of the 60s gave way to the pragmatism of the 80s. So, that's all I can really say. I don't know. I don't really have any expectations going into this book, but the name seemed kind of cool. I kind of want to read more books about California and stuff. So I thought, why not? Thanks for watching. That's my video, and I hope you guys had a great weekend, a great Mother's Day, and I hope your month so far has been good. My next video will be my April wrap-up, and I didn't get through too many books that month. You'll see. But hopefully this month I can do a little bit better, and I don't really have a TBR for this month. Thanks for watching. See you guys later, and give me a comment, give me a like, and if you have any suggestions on Gillian Flynn, let me know.